All right, a look at that box score against Stroud, 27-37. Did get to his numbers. I mean, 336, 2 touchdowns. These last 3 games from a yardage standpoint have been nothing short of phenomenal for C.J. Stroud, but the giveaways, the issue in this one. Devin Singletary stepping in as well, his second consecutive triple-digit effort in the run game. Joe Musso alongside Ryan Wilson here to sink our teeth in, and that's exactly where we're starting. C.J. Stroud and Houston. We talk about winning in different ways. Well, you never want to give it away 3 times if you're C.J. Stroud. 3 interceptions, but the numbers still sing. First and foremost, what did you make of Stroud's performance specifically?
You're going to have these bumps in the road, right? He's a rookie quarterback. He has not played like a rookie. He has looked like a grizzled veteran, and not just a grizzled veteran, one of the 10, maybe top 5 quarterbacks over the first 10 weeks of the season. Had a little hiccup here, mostly in the second half, because, Joe, we were talking at halftime. He was over 250 in passing yards in that first half. Tank Dell was a big part of that success in the first half of this game. So I think there are still plenty of reasons for optimism. You are completely and wholly unconcerned about C.J. Stroud, your franchise quarterback. We've seen Peyton Manning have 4 interception days. We've seen Tom Brady have 4 interceptions days. And you might say, why are you mentioning C.J. Stroud in the same breath as Peyton and Tom? Because he has made these plays week in and week out at such a high level that it's hard to get your brain around the idea that a year ago he was leading Ohio State to the playoffs. And it's been fun to watch. And again, he had only thrown, what, 3 interceptions coming into this week, so he doubled up that number. That's okay. We can live with that because you were still able to eke out the win. Defense helped you down the stretch. Steven Nelson with that PBU at the end of the game there. And again, it gets you to 6 wins. You're 6-4. You're inside the playoff hunt, which I thought no one would probably think at this point that's where they would be. I
want to say you might have cheated him one. I think it was 2 interceptions coming in. Surpasses that number here on Sunday. But point of the matter is C.J. Stroud playing fantastic football and his team able to withstand those 3 extra possessions on the other side. He is the rising tide, and all ships have raised around him. The maturation process, not just of a Tank Dell, but of a Devin Singletary, a veteran in his own right standing next to him. But what C.J. Stroud is doing, are you starting to see that in all aspects of Houston, offense, defense, and otherwise?
Nico Collins, Robert Woods is the veteran presence there. Nico coming in was a big, strong, fast wide receiver who we did not see that show up week in and week out prior to C.J.'s arrival. It showed up immediately once C.J. came on board in Houston. Same thing with Dalton Schultz, who they signed in the offseason from Dallas. Obviously an important cog to what the Cowboys did in previous years. It took a little while for the chemistry to get there between C.J. and Dalton, but it has been there ever since. We saw the touchdown. He slid 4.5 yards into the end zone in the first half. That is sort of typical of what we've seen Dalton Schultz and C.J. do week in and week out in terms of the connection they've created. You talk about Tank Dell, the day 2 pick, who was undersized by any measure, is playing like he's 6'4", 225, and runs a 4.3. Also adds something in the return game if you need him there. So not only is DeMeco Ryans hitting out of the park as a first-year head coach, not only have you found your franchise quarterback, but to your point, Joe, everyone around them offensively is playing better. They did it with a banged-up offensive line to start the season. Now the offensive line is healthier, and they're balling out. The running game was non-existent to start the season. Dameon Pierce goes down for a bit, and then you have Devin Singletary step up, and then the defense continues to get better week in and week out, and it has been a fun ride and a great change of tides, if you will, for Texans fans who have had to endure some pretty bleak times in recent years.
You have round 1, pick 2, performing like a 1-1 with no doubt about that. You did have a 1-1 on the other side of this one, who's being met with many questions on the tail end of his injury. Came back, looked awesome a week ago. Kyler Murray did what his team needed to do in those sticky moments, got the sticks. Looked good again in this spot. We're talking 20 of 32, 14, another 51 on the ground. It's going to take the full sample size to answer this question, but it's going to be likely a top 4 pick here for Arizona, resting on the results the rest of the way here. Do you think that this is a franchise that can feel good moving forward with their quarterback and focus on other needs because there are other needs on this roster?
Yeah, as we sit here right now, and as the day gets completed, we'll see how the playoff picture sorts itself out and the draft picture at the other end sorts itself out. But the Cardinals currently have the number 2 overall pick. Still games to be played this afternoon and this evening. But here's what you do. You run as fast as you can. You take Marvin Harrison Jr. There's no conversation about the quarterback right now based on 8 quarters of Kyler Murray in the post-ACL world because he looks to be pretty good. He looks as mobile as ever. His arm strength is there. We saw the touchdown he threw early in that game to Rondale Moore. And I think he has an opportunity to continue to get better as he knocks the rust off. And if he's your guy, and you know what you have in Kyler Murray, you don't know what you have in Drake May, you don't know what you have in Caleb Williams, or whoever QB2 is behind door number 3, you know what Kyler brings, and you know what Jonathan Gannon is building there. And I think Jonathan Jonathan Gannon deserves a lot of credit for the way they're playing. I'm taking Marvin Harrison Jr., and I said this to you earlier today. Look what Steph Diggs did for Josh Allen. Look what Justin Jefferson did for Kirk Cousins. Throw Marvin Harrison Jr. out there. He might be better than both those guys, and then you start to see what that offense looks like next year.
Some are trying to sort the long-term future, others more concerned with the near term, those with their eyes on the playoffs, and that's where we will go next. Coming off the worst home loss of his career, Trevor Lawrence and the Jags looking for a bounce back against those lowly Titans. Highlights and reaction next, as well as a stop in the booth with our guy Charles Davis on the tail end of a squeaky one in Cleveland.
2 years ago, walk us through how it is for the defense to pick you up on a rough day passing for you.
I don't think, they did a great job. That's complimentary football right there. Them working with me, I'm working with them, it's week in and week out. And, I thought we threw the ball really well. I don't look at 3 plays and be like, dang, I had a bad game. Of course, I can't turn the ball that much. Threw for 300 yards again and 2 touchdowns. I don't think I played terrible, but of course you can't turn the ball over. But the defense definitely held us up when we need them to, and just a great game to learn from.
Well, CJ, of course, now with this win, next week you got the Jacksonville Jaguars coming to NRG Stadium, who you defeated in Jacksonville, first game of the year. Into the game, the winners in first place in the division. Did you ever in your wildest dreams think the team would be in this spot headed to the latter part of the season?
Yes, sir. When we have expectations that we hold ourselves to and a standard we hold ourselves to, and we started that back in OTAs. And it's not about what everybody else thinks or what they thought we were going to be at this point. It's about what we go put on that field. So it's been really cool to play with my teammates and build week in, week out. And now that we put ourselves in a great position to go play for the division, man, it's really special. So this week is going to mean a lot. Got to go practice really hard and put another great weekend of practice. And around Thanksgiving, you want to be playing your best football, and I feel like we're doing that. And of course, you got to just eliminate the negative plays. But other than that, man, we're moving the ball really well. Defense is getting stops. It's the NFL, So every game is a fight and a battle to the very end, and we're going to just keep going.
Go ahead, Christy.
Going into the draft, a lot of people doubted Tank because of his size and didn't think that he could succeed at the NFL level. What do you think about what he's done and the success he's had, despite his size?
I'm super proud of him, man. He's somebody who I came in. He was somebody who I was in contact with right after we both got drafted, and we got like a 2-week period where we were away, and we stayed in contact and just we're helping each other with the plays and things like that. And then we got here, and we just had like a natural connection, and that's grown from hard work, being very disciplined. And things like that. So, man, I'm super proud to see the fruits of his labor pay off, and he's going to continue to do great things, man. He's definitely a superstar in this league. He's going to continue to show that. So I'm really proud of that dude, man. He works his tail off every day. I've never seen somebody work as hard as him at receiver, other than who I went to college with. And you can see, like, on his navigation, like his speed, he's running full speed every day, and that's hard to do, So he's definitely a great talent, a great player, and a great person, and I'm blessed enough to be teammates with him.